Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your Libertarian car guy, and it's the day before, 2 days before the selection. God help us all on Tuesday. And I'm headed down the mountain in the Lexus GS450h Hybrid, which of course is the hybrid version of the Lexus GS Sport sedan. And it's a study in contrasts. On the one hand, it gets pretty decent mileage. And particularly out on the highway, it'll go about 500 miles on a full tank, full charge, and it'll go about 150 miles farther than the regular non-hybrid GS350 in city driving. Overall, you get about a 10 mile per gallon, give or take, advantage relative to the GS350. So that's pretty good, and versus a Prius hybrid, it hauls. It's pretty quick. It'll do 0 to 60 in about 5.9 seconds. So on those counts, it's pretty cool. Get a really slick interior. Hopefully you'll get a decent impression of it here. I try to do these videos at night, or at least when the sun's not yet up, because this camera sucks and you can see more. Anyway, you can see the really handsomely done interior, including a configurable LCD main cluster. See if I can show you how it changes depending on the drive mode. So if you select, for example, the Sport Plus mode, this has the optional F Sport high performance package. You can see I get this more racy looking tack that's similar to what Lexus puts in the LFA and some of its other performance themed cars. And that's kind of interesting because after all, this is a hybrid, and you can get the F Sport package with it. And that includes a 19-inch wheel and tire package. It includes this adaptive suspension with driver selectable modes. It includes a body kit and a bunch of other things too. Two of the vehicles that this car competes with, the BMW 5 Series Active Hybrid and, in my opinion, the Mercedes E250 BlueTech Diesel. They do not offer mechanical functional performance upgrades. You can get some of the AMG appearance stuff in the Mercedes, and you can get some of the M Sport appearance stuff in the BMW, but you really can't get high performance functional upgrades in those cars. But anyway, what I wanted to get back to on this thing, as far as the study in contradictions, is the kind of can't grok it disconnect between the price of the thing, which is about $13,000 higher than the standard GS350, which is basically the same car, just without the hybrid powertrain. 13,000 bucks is a lot of money. If you look at it from an economic point of view. Now, from an engineering and technical point of view, this hybrid is really impressive. It's just amazing that you can drive up to about 40 miles an hour on just the batteries. There are seamless transitions between the electric side of the powertrain and the IC side of the powertrain. Can't find any fault with any of that. But 13,000 bucks is a lot of money. Now, BMW has begun incorporating plug-in functionality in its latest gen hybrids, and I've had a couple of those recently, and you can see or read reviews of those up on the site. The plug-in thing adds an element to the equation that makes the math work out a little bit better, and here's why. With the plug-in, you can top off the batteries without running the engine. In this car and in other hybrids that lack the plug-in feature, in order to top off the batteries, you've got to run the engine. And even though the potential range on the electric side of the powertrain is decent, it's not as far as the plug-in. If you happen to have a commute that's around 10-12 miles or so, theoretically, you could probably get to work and back, assuming that you can plug in while you're working, in something like the latest generation e-drive BMW hybrids without running the gas engine at all. Whereas with this car, you pretty much are going to be running the gas engine pretty often. And even though it does average, you can see in my case about 29 miles per gallon, EPA says 31, which is good. It's still really hard to overlook that $13,000 price uptick. Even at $2 or so a gallon, as it is here in Southwest Virginia, it's going to take you a long time to work off that 13,000 bucks. Which, by the way, brings me to the E250 BlueTech Mercedes. That's the diesel version of the Benz E-Class. That sucker gets 42 miles per gallon on the highway, and I've driven it, so I can vouch for it. And that cleans the clock of all the hybrids, including this car, including the 5 Series Active Hybrid and the Acura RLX Hybrid. I mean, nothing even comes close to that. That's phenomenal. It's also much less expensive. It's about $52,000. It's about $11,000 less than this car and the BMW, about $7,000 less than the Acura. If it has any deficits, they are that, well, the only deficit, really, in my opinion, is that it's not quite as quick as this. I'm going to pass this guy up here and just show you the performance of this car, which is very good. They put it in Sport Sharp. This car has the F Sport, so it's got the Sport Sharp calibrations. And here we go. So you can see, I mean, it runs. No fuss passing anybody. Now the Blue Tech isn't slow, but 0 to 60 is about 7.5 seconds, and that's certainly good. It's in the same ballpark as 4-cylinder versions of mid-size family cars, like the Mazda 6, Toyota Camry, and Honda Accord, but it's kind of down the scale a little bit versus what's typical of cars in the $50,000 price range. But 42 miles per gallon, I mean, that really is very close to what you would get in a Prius, but you're driving a Mercedes E-Class. Now, I know diesels have become kind of politically incorrect, but if you're in the market for a luxury sedan, a mid-sized luxury sedan, and you really want to get maximum mileage, you might want to check that thing out. It will go almost 900 miles, not a typo, or an oral typo anyway, on a full tank of fuel. That's amazing. So that's one of my favorites in the class. That said, I like this car too. It handles very well. It has a beautifully done interior, and the mileage is really solid. I ended up driving around this thing for nearly a week, and I still have, I don't know if you can see it, more than a quarter of a tank of fuel. And generally speaking, when I get into a mid-sized luxury sports sedan with a V6, I suck the tank dry in about 3 days, and I have these cars usually for a week at a time. Anyway, the longer, more in-depth written review will be up on the site, epautos.com, hopefully by tomorrow. And those of you watching this video might also be interested in some of the articles I've put up recently about my little ongoing battle with General Motors, which has taken me off the press car list on account of some politically incorrect comments that I made about the company. So have a look at that and see what you think, and thanks for viewing, and we will catch up with you next time.